So I am Kristen Austin. I'm Assistant Director of HR Operations. So I work here in Furman's HR department. And so my main job here is I handle the benefits, most of the benefits for our faculty and staff. For us, it's just making sure that faculty and staff understand why they have benefits. You know, like your benefits are there to enhance you and your family's life. And then I think too, making sure that faculty and staff understand that they have access to this. Not everybody has access to be enrolled on a medical plan.
Kristen came from the private sector, so she came from a corporate organization. She, I think, is one of the most phenomenal individuals when it comes to, and I'm gonna, kind of go back to that relationship building. She is amazing. She, one of the things I love about her is she allows herself to be vulnerable. So she has a lot of storytelling. She has a lot of background that she can share with people. And I think because of her background, it has allowed her to offer that empathy for people.
I think it's just really valuable to hear some personal stories, and her story, without getting into any of the crazy details, it's just cool to see how she, took a bad situation and made it into her whole career.
I'm from the lower part of the state. I went to a Title I school, which I didn't know what that meant at the time. I didn't realize that's considered, not necessarily poverty, but low income. So my mom was a single parent. But I said all of that to say it was a struggle for us. And so for me to come to Furman, to an environment where I'd say if not half of the students come from families that are very affluent, that was not me at all. Coming to Furman was different. We didn't have a lot of money. If anything, I worked a couple of jobs. I had to buy my own car, so the struggle was different for us. It wasn't terrible, but there definitely wasn't, hey mom, can you put money in my bank account? Like it was like, no, you go open your own bank account. You do work study, you do whatever to try to make sure that you have what you need.
In the beginning, she actually ended up getting a full-ride scholarship here, but then she actually ended up getting cancer around her senior year, and she actually had a really hard time graduating.
So for me, my senior year at Furman, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So stage 3B, it was something totally new for me. I would stay at the Ronald McDonald House, so I moved from North Village I to the Ronald McDonald House because I had already started treatments and things of that nature here in Greenville, and I wanted to be able to continue those, and knowing that I wasn't going to be able to work. So in 2002, when I graduated, the way the rules were is, once you graduate high school, you come off of your parents' insurance, but if you go to college, you can stay on, but once you graduate from college, you pretty much come off. So when I graduated in June of 2002, I had already started chemo and all of that stuff. My mom's insurance company was ready to, not necessarily kick me off, but I was gonna come off like normal. I can understand it from a perspective of having to use it. So definitely when I'm discussing it with faculty and staff and making sure they understand what their rights are, it just kind of, it means a little bit more because I know what it's like to have to take it.
People tend to flock to her, and she's also created a lot of trust with people. She has created just an amazing amount of trust with people that they know they can come to her and they'll get a straight shooter answer. I mean, if they say, gosh, I'd really like to do this with my vacation, she'll go straight back to the policy and say, well, unfortunately, we're not able to do that. But what I do hear from her is, but here's what I can do. Or have you thought about this? So she's not a quick no person. She kind of steers the conversation into a different direction, which I love.
Kristen actively gives back to the Ronald McDonald House, but she uses her history to give back to the Furman community in other ways, by educating them on taking responsibility in one's finances and in understanding HR benefits.
Giving back, Ronald McDonald House, I think I mentioned that, living there right after Furman is one of the big charities that my family give to. So we definitely volunteer with them. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is financial education. And when I say financial education, people think oh, like being rich. And it's like, no, it's just learning to be a good steward of what you have and learning to give back.
We kind of wanted to start this financial workshop.
We reached out to the Malone Center, and they recommended this person named Kristen Austin to us. She seemed really excited. It was all positive. She was already, as soon as we said it, she was already off to planning, asking questions, doing really just amazing ideas, like coming up with great things. And we were all really excited leaving that meeting that she was a good choice for this program.
This is really great to have because about 40% of students don't have the adequate financial literacy skills.
So she's actually a Furman alumnus. So she basically gave a really personal story. And so I think that was a really touching story because it really touched upon how, like I mentioned before, which is one of her biggest takeaways was just that, life is really just kind of throws hurdles at you and you just kind of have to do what you can do to make the best of it. And yeah, I guess it helped us connect with her easier in that aspect.
It is really hard to find people that really care about educating their employees on benefits and trying to help them maximize what is really offered to them.
HR, you're trying to be sometimes everything for everybody. And then, our faculty and staff, they have lives too, and we all deal with challenges and things of that nature. So not only are you helping them in the good times, but you're also assisting them when somebody needs to be out for medical leave, or there's bereavement going on, or something has taken place, a diagnosis has taken place. So you take that on too, and you recognize that you're here to try to impact them and definitely provide them with the resources and tools that can help them through whatever that period is that they're going through. I try to look on the positive side of, okay, this benefit is here, this is what it's here for, making sure that the family understands they have what they have access to.
So the next time you have questions about your benefits or about how to be more financially responsible, go talk to Kristen, and she'd love to share a little bit about herself with you and help you in the process.
I love what I do, and